The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Thurston County Fire District 3, Lacey, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 34956. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation. Let's start down at the front bumper face. On the passenger side front bumper face, you'll find your PA speaker electronic siren. Just inside of that location's dual air horns on the passenger and driver side. Moving up onto the bumper extension, you'll find your fire bell located on the passenger side. As we move inside of that location attached to the frame rail, you'll find 2 protruding attachment point hooks. Let's move all the way over to the driver's side where you'll find your mechanical siren. Now onto the cab face itself. On the outer edge, you'll find a turn indicator marker light. Just inside of that location, you'll find the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. The high beam will be located on the inside. Moving directly above the headlight structures where you'll find your forward-facing emergency warning lights. Directly behind the Pierce logo in the grille area is where you'll find the release mechanism to gain access to the hood area. On the windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers on your one-piece seamless windshield. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. As we move upward on the passenger side, you'll find a downward-facing convex mirror. And then as we move to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 clearance lights. Located directly above the clearance lights on the roof is where you'll find your forward-facing floodlight. And moving further up, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Inside the light bar in the very center is where you'll find your opticom. As we move above both sides, passenger and driver side, you'll find spotlights controlled from within inside the cab area. Let's take a look at some close-ups. First, let's start with the front bumper area. Moving now to the logo where the E34 and Pierce logo is located. Reach behind is where you'll find the release mechanism for the hood. Let's move around now to the cab area where you'll find first on the passenger and driver side sight gauges located for the axle, Alcoa wheels, and Bridgestone tires. Moving to the front bumper. On the bumper extension side, a side-facing emergency warning light. As we move up, you'll find your door latches, which are easily accessible with a gloved hand and also have a key lock. Right next to it, you'll find the grab handle at all points of entry for gaining access in and out of the cab. I have an exploded version of this location here. We'll go over that in just a few moments. Let's move from this location to the very rear cab wall where you'll find an additional emergency warning light. This is part of your lower emergency warning lights. Up to the very top, you'll find an LED water tank level indicator, and then just over the driver and passenger side door, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. Let's take a look at the tires. First, once again, sight gauge located in the center, Alcoa wheels, Bridgestone tires. Let's move directly up from this location where you'll find first your keyless entry. Moving just to the right, you'll find your battery voltage indicator and also air tank pressure indicator. You will find the yellow auto eject. This is for your compressor and receptacles. Just to the right, you'll find your shoreline inlet. This is an auto eject, and there are also indicators for the battery chargers. Let's move now inside the cab area on the driver's side. Let's first start down at the step well. In the very front section of the step well, you'll find an air inlet. As we move just to the rear section of the step area, you'll find an air shutoff and also air outlet. As we move directly above, about the right ankle of the operator, you'll find this placard. This is made for your department. It has the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation. It also has the VIN number, all of the fluid capacities and components and fluid types for your vehicle. Let's move now to the floor area. About the left knee of the operator, we'll start with the master battery switch. It is the red quarter turn switch. As we move downward, we'll find engine diagnostic information. We'll go over that in just a few moments. And then down at the very bottom, we'll find also information regarding regen operations. Let's move now and take a close-up look at this. First at the top, you'll find the tech module, engine transmission, ABS diagnostic port, and also display port. You have two switches for ABS diagnostics and engine diagnostics. At the very bottom section, you'll find the regen inhibit switch and DPF regen switch. Let's move down to the floorboard where you'll find two foot pedals located on the floor. First, the air horn. Just to the right of that location, you'll find the mechanical siren. Directly behind the operator seat, you'll find your air pressure sensor. Let's move to the dash now. We'll start on the left-hand side of the dash with your four-way flash hazard lights, start and ignition switch. Just to the right, you'll find the little switch named EM, or should be labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. It engages and disengages all emergency lights with one button. To the right, you'll find your headlight switch. Further to the right, a panel switch allowing you to brighten or dim lights within preview of the operator. And then on the opposite side of the steering column, you'll find your high idle indicator and OK to engage the high idle switch. Let's move up to the dash where you'll find on the left-hand side your transmission, oil, def, and water temperature. On the right side, you'll find front and rear air, fuel, and volts. Located directly in the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic engine information will display above and also below the speedometer. Let's move all the way to the right here in the image where you'll find your system parking brake. Pull to apply and push to release. It is the yellow diamond on the right-hand side. General view here of the right side of the dash area. Let's talk a little bit about some of the components. First, let's start with the command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Please see the owner's manual for more details. On the right-hand side, you'll find your Allison transmission pad, digital readout, push button, and also an informational note to pump in drive. Let's move further to the right. We'll identify a few switches. First, starting at the top, this is your perimeter lights, siren brake, backup alarm override, and then also fuel primer, white lights off, and load manager. Moving down, engine brake on and off, setting low, medium, and high, and mirror heat. Moving further to the right, you have your traffic left and traffic right. This is for your rear traffic advisor. And then as we move down, you'll find your pump shift. There are instructions on the placard from road to pump, and then also from pump to road. Just as a reminder for pump operations, you'll need two green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump, illuminated before exiting the cab. Also, disengage the retarder when on slippery or wet surfaces. Just on top of this location, you'll find mirror control for left and right mirror, and also in the very front section, you'll find your climate control for heat defrost, front and rear, and also AC front and rear. You'll also find the Go Light control module. This is for the spotlights on the top of the vehicle. As we move overhead of the operator, I'd like to point out this yellow placard on the left indicating the height of the vehicle, 10 feet 1.5 inches, length 34 feet 1 inch, and a gross vehicle weight rating 46,800 pounds. Let's move further to the right to the membrane switches where you'll find emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, rear warning, air horn selector switch, and also Opticom high beam flash. As we move just to the right, additional switches located at the very top. We have our flood scene master, driver side cab scene, visor scene, passenger cab scene, driver side flood, rear work light, and passenger side flood. You can see this here indicating green. The switch is currently in the on position. Located directly in the center, you'll also find this red light indicating do not move your apparatus. You may have a compartment door open or ajar. As we move to the rear of the apparatus, two seats located on the rear cab wall that do contain quick SCBA release packs. As we move behind the driver's seat, you'll find your air compressor for maintaining brake tank pressure. As we move further to the right, you'll find your audible speaker, volume control located on it. It's for your backup camera. You'll also find the handle for the manual cab tilt. Let's move now to the rear section of the cab area, but let's first start with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, we're going to find all of our safety and warning information. Also, we have a door lock and latch and automatic window controls. As we move just inside, you'll find two compartments located on the passenger and driver side, rear facing. These do have adjustable shelves and also LED lighting. Directly above, you'll also find two additional storage compartments. As we move to the very center, directly to the rear of the engine, you'll find this lift and turn latch will gain you access to your daily checks for oil and transmission. Once again, quick look to the rear cab wall. At the very top section, you'll also find additional storage located at the top area. Underneath these seats, you're also going to find additional storage location. And let's go ahead and move to the exterior of the apparatus. I think we have all of our compartment doors in the open position. We'll start identifying a few items. Let's go to the very back section of the cab wall where you'll find this pan door. D-handle gains you access into this space. As we move forward to this location, we'll start at the very top section with your crosslays. First, starting on the left, you'll find the number 1 crosslay for the officer, number 2 driver, and also 2.5-inch officer, and then also number 4 crosslay driver. These are all labeled and clearly color-coded. Let's move just down from this location from the crosslays, and you'll find an additional door which will gain access into 4 toolbox locations. Just underneath that location, you'll also find a pull-out step area. This is for gaining access to the booster line, which is located directly above. When this lift door is in the open position, you'll find this warning on top. This is a fall. There is no railing and is not a stepping surface because it is the upper portion of the door. As we move to the pump panel, you'll find your water tank level indicator module. Just inside of that location, the gray area, we're going to find our master intake and then also master discharge. In between the two of those are the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They are currently plugged and these are for testing purposes. Let's move just to the right to the next module, and this is going to be your throttle pressure governor. There is also a green indicator that it's okay to pump, and then also a audible alarm just beneath that. The outer edge of that audible alarm does allow you to dampen the sound by just simply rotating the outside dial. We also have some switches controlling lights. We'll go over those in just a few moments to the right. And then also all of our crosslays, they're clearly color-coded and labeled. As we move further down, you'll find the 2.5-inch discharges and also your officer side discharges. As we move up to the upper portion, this black audible alarm, once again, outer edge of the bezel, does allow you to dampen the sound. We do have a low fuel indicator. It's an amber light that will come on for low fuel. As we move to the right, this is going to be your rear inlet, open and closed. It's an electronic valve. And then we also have another indicator indicating pump engaged. We have a green indicator that's okay that your pump has been engaged. As we move down, you'll find your deck gun, officer side rear, and also driver rear discharges. You'll also find the minimum operation maintenance schedule placard. We'll go over that in just a few moments. And as we move further to the right, you'll find the real blowout for your booster line. Moving further to the right, we have a tank fill. And down at the very bottom section in this image, you'll find the real discharge. That's for the booster line once again. And then also just to the right, you'll find your tank to pump. Let's go ahead and move further down on the pump panel. You'll find two 2.5-inch discharges located on this side, color-coded and labeled. Just inside the location, a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move further to the right to the Pierce logo American flag eagle, this is your large diameter pump inlet. Further to the right, we've got a warning regarding fall. When you're climbing on the vehicle, always face the vehicle. As we move down, we have an additional warning. Only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after they received proper training. In that same vicinity, you're going to find the 2.5-inch female auxiliary inlet. And then further to the right, you'll find your Watrous placard. We'll go over that in just a few moments. And then at the very bottom section and far on the left, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's move to the right now where you'll find your fire pump primer. This is an air prime push to prime. It does have a minimum of 1,000 RPMs for best practices. Moving further to the right, we have a engine cooler. It is a twist, not a pull. Also an audible alarm, same thing, outer edge of that bezel does allow you to dampen the sound. That's going to be for your TRV, which is your temperature relief valve. Moving further down, you'll find the fire pump drain. And then down at the very bottom, you'll find the manual pump shift. Once again, across the bottom, all the color-coded and labeled discharge drains. This is your minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 PSA. On the left, you're going to find the associated GPM at test pressure. And on the right, you'll find the associated RPM
at that test pressure. Also, you'll find the 5-digit job number in the upper left-hand corner of the placard. Let's go over the Watrous placard. You have a capacity of 1,500 GPM pump and also a pump model of a CSU. As we move now into the body of the compartments, you'll find dry deck material on the bottom of the shelves and floor, also adjustable shelves. In this compartment, you'll find a Shoreline outlet. It is a 20 amp outlet. As we move just in front of and rear of the axle, you'll find the blue DEF level fill location and also your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. There are also 2 SCBA locations located here. They do have retaining straps. The blue DEF tank is a 4.5 US gallon tank. Just as a reminder, the silver cap is your ultra low sulfur diesel. And let's go ahead and move now to the very rear compartment. Once again, LED lighting, adjustable shelves. This happens to have a pull-out tray. The release mechanism is on the lower right side. It will lock into position. Directly under this compartment is where you're going to find your hitch receiver. This does have a 9,000 maximum allowable wrench rating. And then just next to that, you'll find also your wheel chock storage location and also the rear inlet air bleeder. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. Starting at the rear, we have an emergency light, brake, turn, and also reverse light. In the upper section inside the hosebed area, you'll find a backboard storage location. Down at the lower section, you're going to find your traffic advisor. Let's move into some of the smaller compartments in the very back. First, starting at the top with the driver's rear discharge. This is a 2.5 inch. As we also move to the right, you'll find a warning regarding pressure hazard. We talked about that before. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also an entanglement hazard warning because lines coming from aloft, there's the possibility of entanglement. This location is for long-handled tool storage. As we move just downward from this location, you'll find a fall hazard. This is a warning. Always face the vehicle when climbing on it. This is your rear inlet. Once again, that electronic valve. As we move just to the right, you'll find a fall hazard. As we move into the compartment, you'll find your 10-foot folding ladder. And as we move to the very rear compartment, roll-up door, you'll find adjustable shelves that also pull outward. In this compartment, you'll also find the Shoreline outlet. This is a 20 amp plug. Here are the compartments in the rear with the shelves in the outward position. The bottom section is locked into position. As we move now to the passenger side of the vehicle, in this compartment, you'll find at the very top section a Shoreline outlet 20 amp plug. As we move to the very bottom underneath the compartment area, you'll find a 9,000 pound maximum allowable winch rating. This is the receiver location on the passenger side of the vehicle. Let's move forward now to the next compartments. Once again, SCBA bottle storage location with retaining straps. There are 2 on this side. Also, you'll find the fill location for your hydraulic oil for your ladder rack. At the very top section, we'll find 2 things at the very upper portion of this compartment. These are going to be your inverters, and they are also plugged into Shoreline power. Let's take a look at the close-up here. Once again, this is your hydraulic equipment rack, hydraulic oil reservoir. As we move down, once again, you'll find Bridgestone tires, Alcoa wheels. And then as we move just up to the forward position of the axle, you'll find that SCBA bottle storage. You can see the retaining strap in there for safety. As we move to the next compartment, you'll find the lower section houses SCBA bottle storage location and also adjustable shelving. At the very top section, you'll find the S1, which is your Shoreline power breaker box. And let's move downward. In front of the axle is where you're going to find your exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operations. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. You'll also find officer side auxiliary inlet and rear inlet drains. As we move now to the mid section of the pump panel, once again, all compartments are open. As we move to the front section cross lay, same configuration as the driver's side. Just want to show you this on the passenger side. As we move down, you'll find the powered equipment rack. We do have instructions for raise and also lower. We do have a danger because of that object moving. There is the possibility of crush. Also, your warm water rinse, decontamination rinse system on the left, instructions on the right, and also the number 4 officer side discharge. That's a 2.5 inch discharge. Just as a reminder, if you're climbing on the vehicle, always face the vehicle. We have two switches. First, your rear rewind, and then also passenger side floodlight. So we look inside the pan door. This is going to be your intake relief valve. It's an adjustment. And then also just additional access behind the pump panel. Let's move further down on the pump panel itself. We'll start with this warning regarding pressure hazard. Once again, caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move to the left, the Pierce logo American flag eagle. This is your large diameter pump inlet. You also have color-coded and labeled discharge drainages on the far left. As we move to the far right-hand side, you'll find the officer side. This is going to be your large diameter discharge, and then also you have a 2.5-inch discharge just in front of that. Let's move downward from this discharge, and we'll identify a few more items. First, officer side auxiliary inlet, 2.5-inch ball valve female coupling here, and then also decontamination outlet, and also decontamination fill location. Moving down into the compartments, you'll find this is directly in front of the cab area, although still part of the body area. It does have a pull-out tray on the lower section for standing on. And then as we move to the cab area, rear wall D-handle gains you access into this compartment. We're now into the cab on the passenger side. As we look inside, once again, two forward-facing seats and then also the two EMS compartments rear-facing. Let's start with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning information, door lock and latch, and electric windows, grab handles. Looking overhead, you'll find push on and off white or red lens lights and also your 4-way stereo speaker system. On the base pedestal of the two seats forward-facing, you'll also find 12-volt access via USB style. LED lights inside. You can gain access exterior to this compartment. And then also above those two breadbasket compartments there are additional storage locations on the passenger side. Exterior access here, this is for the compartment directly behind the officer seat. And as we move into the officer seat itself, once again, affixed to the door panel, safety and warning information at the very bottom. Also door lock and latch, and electric windows and grab handle. Let's move inside the cab area. I would like to point out a few things. We'll start at the floor area, first starting with 2 foot pedals. There is an electronic siren and also a mechanical siren. As we move to the dash itself, your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, SRS airbag. It's important to read the information warning here regarding the mounting of equipment or any objects within the area of the airbag. You also have a fire bell rope located on the far right next to the grab handle. As we move to the left of the officer position, you'll find siren brake, air horn, and a parking brake, push to apply, pull to release. Moving to the left, you'll find a digital readout for the speedometer, and then also 4 locations for direct access, USB, or barrel style 12 volt. Moving to the right, your vehicle data recording port. And then let's go ahead and take a quick look overhead of the officer position, and we'll identify a few items within this area. Let's first start at the center area where you'll find the Firecom wireless base station control module. Moving just to the right of this location and slightly upward is where you're going to find your siren control for electronic siren and PA speaker. You'll also find the Firecom module, your main dispatch unit radio, and then we do have a few switches located in this area. We're going to find flood master for your scene lights, also driver cab scene, visor scene, passenger cab scene, driver side flood, and passenger side flood. As we move to the officer seat, there is also an SCBA located in the backrest. Let's move exterior now on the passenger side where you'll find your equipment rack in the deployed position. As we look to the equipment rack, you'll also find at the rear section a additional folding ladder, on the front section 24-foot extension and a 14-foot roof. Directly above, long-handled tool storage. Just as a reminder, in the rear of the vehicle is where you'll find the folding 10-foot attic. Let's go ahead and move now to the front section cab area. We do have some warning placards located here because this is a non-walking surface. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the top section of the vehicle. First, I'd like to point out the yellow diamonds. These are for safety and are designating the walking surface area. As we move to the forward section in the dunnage area, you'll find top access via D handle. As we move to the very front section, you'll find 2 floodlights located directly behind the cab area. Let's take a look now with your crosslay cover in the open position. You can see the 4 crosslays, and then we'll move now into the dunnage area. This is going to be left side and right side access. D handle gains access into this space, and this is going to be the location for your rinse station. As we move to the very center area, to the rear of the dunnage, is where you'll find your deck gun. And let's go ahead and take a look at the booster line located in this area center. This is your red line. You'll find a manual rewind location to the top, and then also on the side a free tension spool knob. You'll also find top fill location for your water tank. And let's go ahead and take a quick look toward the rear. This is going to be with both doors in the open position. You can see the dividers in your hose bed area. Congratulations, Thurston County Fire District 3, Lacey, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus. Job number 34956. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.